Your students can do built-in assignments in Edsby that you've created, and this is how you're going to do it. Let me show you how. Firstly, on your Edsby homepage, you're going to look for personal folder option that's located right here where the arrow is pointing. Personal folder, you're going to choose personal folder icon to get things started. Within your personal folder tab, you're going to see this a page that looks similar to this. Now, I have a bunch of things already here, so you're going to probably have nothing there if you haven't made anything in the folder. But you're going to choose new, and when you choose new, you're going to choose the new tab here, and it'll give you some selections to make. And I believe one of the sections should be a new sheet, a new question sheet. Right. So you have a choice of a new folder, a new question sheet, a rubric, LTI tool. You're going to choose a question sheet for this particular function if you want to make an online assignment for them to complete. And just so you know, when they do the online assignment, you you pre-build everything, and the grades go automatically into Edsby once they do the assignment. So you can make it, leave it out there, and they do the rest. The question sheet is going to look just like this. And so you're going to be able to, as it says, step 4, give it a title, give a title to the assignment, and also write down how you're going to have the scheme. Is it going to be out of something? Is it going to be just be for a grade, a letter grade, or whatever the case may be? But most of the time, we're going to do out of because that's the easiest way to grade it. Then you have your type of question. You're going to choose the type of question that you want to choose over here with number 6 here. Notice that it says out of. You can change the weight of each question here, and you can say how much each question is weight. Let's say one question is worth 2 points as opposed to the other questions being worth 1 point. You can choose that. When you choose multiple choice, you'll be given a window that looks just like this one, and you have your question. You will write your question here. And one thing I like is that you can add pictures. You can put a picture there. You can also upload a file there for the student to view, and other a link, other attachments there as well for this particular question. So it will. I've made question sheets where I put a picture of something, and they had to identify the picture, and the picture comes up on the screen for them, which is really cool. Once you fill in your questions in the form, you're going to be able to add additional questions or sections. Now, the section, add additional sections, it will separate it into different sections, and so you can have one part of the test or assignment, excuse me, and then another part. But make sure you're saving. Make sure you save each time you add something new, because if you add a new question, you don't save, you can lose your information, and you know how sometimes SB can be very glitchy, so make sure you do that. And again, you can add new question, add new section here as well after each question, and make sure that you're checking your question, that it says what you wanted to say, and so forth. Oh, something I didn't mention earlier, this little paragraph symbol here, if you click on this, it's going to expand this space, this area, to allow you to type in a lot more, and it gives you a lot more flexibility with the fonts and so forth. So that's a very good tool to use. But if you're just trying to type a question, a simple question, it's just easy to use that field the way it is. Okay, when you're done, I understand this is going to be a strange way of thinking, but when you're done with making your question sheet, it's just going to go into this folder with for question sheets. Okay, so when an assessment is created, it is placed in the teacher's personal folder. You have not made the assignment yet. The assignment is a different step. Okay, in order to assign the assignment, the teacher must create an assessment and choose online test. So we're going to do that next step. All we're doing here is pretty much making a bank for a test and a question sheet. That's all you're doing in this particular step, but you have to do this step before you do the next step. Otherwise, it's not possible to make the online assignment. The next full step then is to create the assessment. We all have seen this particular screen before, right? Where you're creating an assessment. So when you're creating an assessment, you're going to do everything you normally do at first, but notice here that it says online test. You have to choose online test. When you choose online test, this is going to allow you to choose that particular question sheet. Now, again, you're going to assign it the name that you want to assign it, like you always do any assignment, and all the extra bells and whistles. But this online test selection must be chosen in order to use your sheet. So then this button is going to come up, choose question sheet. And of course, when you choose this is going to take you to the screen where your folder is. Well, it's going to show you a drop down of the folder, and you're going to have to choose your question sheet from the folder. Okay, so this is everything's the same as we normally would do with other assessments, but we're assigning a specific question sheet. This is what the question sheet looks like. So you have all the things that's in your folder showing up, all the different question sheets. I have several of them, so you can choose which one you want to use. You've already created this question sheet. You can choose any of these question sheets to um, to have the students do online. Now, this part is going to be the fun part where you get to adjust things. Make sure you're careful when you get to this part. Once the question sheet has been chosen, like I have my question sheet, it shows me in bold my question sheet, vocabulary quiz, first grading period, week one. You can choose a time limit because it will time them. If I were you, I would not give them 1 hour. There's a drop if you drop down this menu here. Um, you can select for them to have an unlimited amount of time, but that's up to you as you see fit. You can have a number of attempts. They can do it multiple attempts times. What I like also is that you can randomize the questions on your sheet and or randomize the answers for each question as they're doing it. Now that would be useful if you're sitting in a computer lab. If they're at home, I don't know the reason for doing that, but unless they're on the phone with their friend, who knows? In any case, then you're going to schedule. Now you can just give them as an assignment and don't have to schedule anything, or you can choose to leave it open. This one is what I like as well. It's scheduling open and close, which means you can control when they start it and when they have it to do when it's due. This is a good way to make sure your student actually does the work when he or she is supposed to do it. When you ask them to. Now, when doing the scheduling open and close in class, again, you got to be careful when you do that part. Do the different steps to make sure you do it correctly according to what you want. And then we have the grading scheme. You could choose to have it as part of their grade or make it a bonus or just an assessment just for them to do. Notice it's going to automatically populate the out of based upon the number of questions or the number of points in the grade sheet. So this one had 16 points and this is shaded. You can't change that right now. But then it automatically gives it a weight of 16. Now you can control your weight of the assignment there. If your quizzes are worth 40 points, you give them 40 points, make that 40. If it's your classwork is worth 25, you give them 25. Whatever your desire to do when it comes to the weighting. Now, here's the deal. Um, Not only do you do that there, but later on when they do the assignment, if you want to change the out of this part, you're going to have to go back and toggle up above here with the online test and make it just a normal test, and then you could change it. But for now, it's going to be what it's already assigned to be. Whole process, I'm going to do it right in front of you. So I'm going to go right here to my personal folder, click View My Personal Folder, and hopefully Edsby works with me here. I'm going to click it again, and it'll look just like this. You're going to choose New. Now, Edsby has changed a little bit in design since the last time I created the sheet, but it works the same. Click on plus and choose question sheet for new. I'm going to Click on the new question sheet, and I'm going to give the test title a name. Let's just say home learning. All right. I'm going to give it a title. I can choose to preview as a student, also give feedback as well. I can choose my standards. They added that button since the last time I made the other information. So let's go down to the question section. You're going to type a question. Again, I could type it in, what is home? Just making up stuff here. Or I can click on this button here and it will expand it to allow me to, let's see, it's going to allow me to type in information and uh, control it just a little bit better as far as the font, whether I want it to be bold or what have you. For some reason, when I'm clicking on things, it's moving slowly with it. So it may come up or it may not come up. I'm not going to worry about that. Um, Again, you could choose multiple choice. What type of question? True, false. Multiple choice. Choose all that applies. Short answer questions. Now, it will not grade it for you if you choose short answer or paragraph. You're not gonna. It's not gonna grade for you. But the others, the true, false, multiple choice, and drag and drop will grade it for you, and also choose all that apply will grade it for you automatically. You can choose the amount of points given to it. It's like I mentioned before. Let's see. I'm going to choose number two. I'm going to type my answers here. What is home? Place to stay. Place to stay. Um, and where the heart is. These are my I'm choosing all of my answers. Now, if it's the correct answer, you're going to put a check right here or a little box right here for that to let the computer know that that is the correct answer. Also, by the way, when you do fill in the blank, if you do short answer rather, it's going to allow you to make choices, but you have to make sure the students spell it exactly the way you spell it. Otherwise, it's going to mark it wrong. So again, once you've done that, you're going to choose new question. Like I said before, I should have pressed save here at the bottom between questions. I need to press save. And so the new question is going to be here. And I can type a question, what is school? Notice that when I pressed the paragraph button above, it never came up. And I don't know if it's my computer or if it's just Edsby, but if your computer probably would work fine. Uh, a place a place to sleep. Oh gosh, my typing is terrible. Um, a place to learn. Okay, so I can do that. And I'm going to follow my own advice and press the save button. When I press save, I'm guessing it's saved. That's so fun. With SB is fun stuff to work with. I promise you, it's so much fun stuff to work with. Okay, so it's saved. It went back to the top here, so I know it's saved. Wasn't quite sure then. I'm gonna try one more thing, one more type of question, new question. Excuse me. Sorry. And in this case, let's do short answer. You got to be careful with this one because, again, what is school? You have to give them an answer, but the answer has to be a place to learn. To learn. You have different ways you can answer learning place, but make sure it's going to be something that they actually will be able to type because they might type something that's the right answer. They might type in learning, but it is not. It's not the right. It doesn't come up as a right answer because you didn't type it in as a suggestion. Wonderful times in my throat. So once you're done making it, you're going to go, or your questions, all the questions, or if you want to save it, you save it for later, click on return to folder, and it's going to take you back to this screen. we're going to go ahead and create the assignment now, or the assessment. Um, what is home? Let's just call it that. Again, go type in the title, choose your unit. I'm going to leave that unit alone since this is just a demonstration. Choose what type of assignment you're going to do. The big difference for this step is this area right here. You're going to choose online test. When you choose online test, notice, like I said before, that the selection to choose question sheet comes up. So you press on choose question sheet, and then this screen will come up. You're going to have to scroll through, and I have several different question sheets here, and my bar is not coming up. I swear this thing. Uh, let's see, I can scroll down here. Oh, I'm discovering this stuff myself. So I'm going to scroll down and look for my home learning right there at the bottom. I just made that today. So I'm going to click on that, choose that sheet, and notice that the name of the sheet is right here in the box. I can choose my time limit. I can have unlimited time, like I would suggest you would do with your students, or it's up to you, or one day, it's up to you how much time you have to do that assignment. And also, I'm going to choose the number of attempts for the assignment. I can change the number. I can change the randomize the questions and answers so it comes up in a different randomized method. Now, this is the part that I was telling you that you need to be really careful with the scheduling. You may want to control this with your students, especially if you choose to open and close. So let's say I want to open it and I choose today, or I could choose tomorrow. Let's do tomorrow just to be different. Um, I could choose a time that I wanted to open up. Using this, notice you have an AM here and a PM here. Make sure you're careful with the AM and PM, especially when you're doing midnight. I wouldn't even use midnight. I would use or 12 o'clock. I would use 12:01 or 11:59 if I were you. You could change the actual time of day that you want them to have it open and close. You can choose the date to close it. Let's say we want to close it on the 24th. I just chose that randomly. You're going to just do the same thing, a specific time that you want to stop it, okay? That's up to you. Um, and you can make your choice. You can change the time. See, I'm just going to change this to 3 p.m. But again, take a look at your time to make sure it says what you want it to say, okay? And you can choose whether include it in the average or make it a bonus or just formative. Just have it as an assignment that they did so you can know what's going on with them. The scheme. Out of is already populated out of. You could change it to something else later on if you want to, but it's going to be stuck on out of. Change the weight if you want to. The way you're going to change later on is if you want to change it from out of, you're going to have to change this particular spot right here. And when the students have done the assignment, you can click none. You can go back and change this to none, and you will be able to toggle this information right here. Okay, you'll be able to do that. All right, you can leave instructions for the students telling them what they're going to do. You can upload files for them as well, additional files for them, and make it visible to them. Or you can hide it for now until you're ready to show it. But once you're done, just click save, and it'll populate into your gradebook. When it's in your gradebook, you will notice that the students can go ahead and do the assignment when they want to do the assignment. I have a couple of these already in my gradebook, but because of my students' privacy, I'm not going to show it, but you get the gist of it. Once you do it, play with it, see how it goes, and hopefully it'll make sense to you. All right? Happy assignments and testing.